Forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown. A single line that echoes through the halls of cinema history. But what makes this movie such an enduring classic? Let's dive into the labyrinth of deception, power, and tragedy that is Roman Polanski's Chinatown.
The guy's got water on the brain.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Connect All Three, the series where we explore movies by breaking them down into three essential elements: the story, the characters, and the visuals. Today we're diving into one of the greatest neo-noir films of all time, a film that deceives you at every turn only to reveal a brutal truth at the end. Let's get started. At first glance, Chinatown seems like a classic detective story. Private investigator J.J. Gittes is hired to follow a man suspected of infidelity. But as he digs deeper, the mystery expands into a conspiracy about water, corruption, and power in 1930s Los Angeles.
You steal the water from the valley, ruin the grazing, starve my livestock.
We all want to figure out the world around us, but at what cost? How much is enough to stop us from asking questions?
You want answers!
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
In movies, usually what happens is that the character, the outsider, enters a new environment and fixes the problems and comes out victorious. But in reality, if an outsider wants to really unravel the truth, the most probable outcome is that the outsider also understands why the problems are there and why they weren't solved until now.
When you're right, you're right. You're right.
Even if they have the answer, it doesn't mean they have the power to fix it. So what makes Chinatown stand out from all the other detective films for me is its structure. The story isn't about uncovering a single truth. It's about how every layer of the mystery reveals a more devastating reality. Jake starts out confident, thinking he's in control, but every clue he finds only leads him further into a world he can't escape. The film's structure is designed to make the audience feel as lost as the protagonist. And that when the final revelation about the villain, Noah Cross, is exposed, it's not just shocking, it's horrifying. This isn't a story where the hero wins, it's a story where the hero learns that the truth is just coming too late and that in the end he's so powerless to change anything. In a way, Chinatown is the anti-Dark Knight. In The Dark Knight, Batman loses Rachel, but he ultimately finds purpose. In Chinatown, Jake loses everything and all he can do is just walk away.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss? Sir?
What makes Chinatown so compelling is that it plays with our expectations of classic noir archetypes. In it, we have all the cliché characters. The detective,
I'm tired, Mrs. Mulray.
the good guy, the power-hungry villain,
How much better can you eat? What can you buy that you can't already afford?
The future, Mr. Gitz.
the clueless cop, but all of that with a more realistic plot.
Yelburton, he's the new chief.
Yeah, I know who he is. Go on.
He said.
I know what he says.
Shut up.
The detective Jake Gittes isn't a brilliant genius who solves everything effortlessly. Jake takes risks,
Russ Yelbert, Deputy Chief of the Department.
Sorry, Mr. Yelburton. Go on down.
makes mistakes, gets hurt, and is looked down upon.
You got a hell of a way to make a living.
Oh? And what do you do to make ends meet?
He's clever, but he's also cocky. He believes he understands the game, and he's way over his head in this case.
Wait in the office for me about 2 hours. If you don't hear from me, you and Duffy meet me at 1712 Alameda.
Jesus. It's in Chinatown, ain't it?
I know where it is. Just do it.
It's the same kind of doomed heroism we see in Taxi Driver, a man who tries to fix things but only makes them worse.
You talking to me?
The good guy, Hollis Mulray, doesn't miraculously survive, and the cops are not dumb. Then the femme fatale, Evelyn Mulray, seems like the classic mysterious, deceitful, and dangerous woman. But that couldn't be further from the truth. We realize she's actually a victim, and her flawed eye symbolizes that. The more we learn about her past, the more we understand that she's not manipulating anybody. She's trying to survive. When we learn the dark truth about her father, Noah Cross, we realize this is not just a noir mystery, it's a Greek tragedy hiding behind a fedora. And finally, we have the power-hungry villain, Noah Cross, one of the most terrifying villains in film history. He's not just corrupt, he's untouchable. He doesn't even bother to hide his crimes because he knows that power will protect him no matter what. Man who smiles while committing atrocities. His presence is what makes Chinatown feel so hopeless.
I don't blame myself. See, Mr. Gitz, most people never have to face the fact that at the right time and the right place, they're capable of anything.
The first time I watched Chinatown, I struggled with it. The slow pacing made it hard to watch, and every character seemed to defy the stereotypes I had about them. They were real, layered, and unpredictable. But then I watched it again, and suddenly everything clicked. I realized how intricately the writing was woven together, almost as if Robert Tone wrote the screenplay backwards, starting from the end, meticulously setting up each piece along the way so that in the end everything matched. Roman Polanski directs Chinatown with a slow, methodical style. Unlike fast-paced detective films like Seven or The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, this movie takes its time ensuring that every detail matters. Because of this deliberate pacing, it may take a while for modern viewers to adjust. The cinematography by John A. Alonzo mirrors Jake's journey. The shots are carefully composed, often trapping characters within doorways, windows, or reflections, subtly reinforcing the idea that they are powerless, caught in forces beyond their control. One of the smartest choices in Chinatown is keeping the camera with Jake at all times. We never get a scene without him, which means we learn everything at the same time as he does, keeping us locked in the protagonist's perspective so that every twist hits harder. Another crucial element is the use of sunlight. Unlike most noir films that rely on dark, shadowy cinematography, Chinatown is bright, almost golden. But this isn't warmth, it's the deception. The entire film takes place under the glaring California sun, hiding the darkness beneath. It's a visual trick that makes everything even more shocking. I personally love scenes that seem mundane or ordinary, but they are actually telling us more about the psychology of the characters. Something Tarantino does best.
Vincent would have been satisfied with some freeze-dried Taster's Choice, right? And he springs this serious gourmet shit on us. What flavor is this?
And a $5 shake.
How do you want that shake? Martin and Lewis or Amos and Andy?
Martin and Lewis.
Did you just order a $5 shake? Bill, I have to say, you play with matches, you get burned.
What do you mean?
You don't be giving Marcellus Wallace's new bride a foot massage.
Come on, throw in a buck.
I don't tip.
You don't tip?
No, I don't believe in it.
In Chinatown as well, there are a lot of scenes that say everything without saying very much. Like how Jake misunderstands the maid.
Yeah, bad for the glass.
Oh, yeah. Bad for glass.
But my favorite is early in Chinatown, when Jake Gittes starts telling a crude joke about a Chinaman to his colleagues, but he's interrupted before delivering the punchline. The joke is never completed, and we never learn what it means. At first, it might seem like an irrelevant moment, but it subtly reinforces one of Chinatown's core themes, the idea that some things are left unfinished, unresolved, and just out of reach. Just like the joke, Jake never fully understands the case that he's investigating until it's too late. By the time he sees the full picture, the damage has already been done. It's a film where justice is never fully served, where the deeper meaning stays beyond our grasp. This ties into the meaning of the film's title, Chinatown. It's not just a physical place, but a state of mind. Chinatown represents Jake's biggest failure, a reminder that some battles just can't be won, at least not alone and not by yourself.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
All right, come on, clear the area. On the sidewalk.